Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Mic check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. Check. All right. We're looking good. Shit. We are looking good. We're looking great. Damn. So, I'm going to write down some things that I remember about some people. That's what I'm about to do today. All by myself. I don't have any guests today or my co-host Chris Law. It's just me all by myself. So I'm going to get that notebook out that I wrote down people's names in last time. I'm going to start remembering some things. And I'm going to actually add to the list first people. The list is for people I want to interview, people I want to talk to about their lives. And the main thing I want to get at is people that got out of the military or stay or people that stayed in. And I really want to just compare the two, how different military life is to civilian life. And I also want to get into a little bit of how the military experience has shaped certain people's lives into what they're doing now. So I served with 1st Battalion, 8th Marines, in Weapons Company. And the other people that did that with me were the last boss at FedEx, Tony. I want to talk to him. My good buddy Aaron, I haven't talked to him in a little while, but I actually didn't serve with him. He served in a different unit. I think he was a machine gunner, but he got out, so I want to talk to him. And he's one of my better friends. I know him pretty well. I'm gonna try to talk to Ryan, but he got really mad at me recently over some nothing people shit that people usually get mad about nothing when you look at it anyway. Rico, he's my good friend. He was absolutely mine. Shit, just lost the microphone. Just fell off of his stand. Stand by while I fix this. We're almost there. Damn. Off of the bungees too. Sorry guys. Doing not the best right now. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we get that shit in. All this shit's gotta go on. My mic's falling apart up top. My stand falling apart down below. Alright, that should be good. I'll hold it, I guess. I can't. I gotta. We'll get there soon. title of this podcast is Setting Up My Microphone. So if I'm trying to figure out somewhere to put it, maybe over there would be all right. We will check on the other side of the table. I just got to unscrew this clamp first. All right, let's try again real quick. Screen view now. All right, how's that? That's much better. Excellent. Do we still have audio? Hello, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's good. Okay, so Anthony, we'll start with him. I used to hate that dude, and Rico used to hate him too. A lot of people used to hate him. He's really changed a lot since he's gotten out. When he was in, he was probably the biggest asshole I've known. This is why I got to get some people on the phone, because I'm trying to think and run through some examples of why he was an asshole. And it was a long time ago. I really can't honestly remember. The most recent memories I have with him are good ones at FedEx, when he let my little brother ride with me, when he just gave me the job out there. I mean, it was pretty cool. And he invited me and my family to his family's Thanksgiving and everything. So I'm gonna have to talk to Rico and Lunkin about why Tony was an asshole. Yeah, that'd be good. See if we can remember some things about that. I'm sure Tony will love that. Why were you an asshole in the past? I can't remember. All right, I got that for both of you guys. I guess I got to look at that too. All right. But something I gotta ask Tony. That's a good one for Tony too. Why was he an asshole? He'll probably remember some shit. He was an asshole. So I don't remember. Okay, I remember one instance. I think it was him, but it was a bunch of older Marines that were training us. It was before our first deployment. We were training out in California. Him and I think it had to have been Badillo, because Badillo was my team leader. And I put my rifle down beside it. First off, it's like a sin in the military to not know where your rifle is. And so to prove a point, whenever they get the opportunity, the people training you are going to take it, steal it. So one of the senior Marines at the time, I think it was Might have been a machine gunner, so they might not have been on our platoon. But we were just hanging out, not doing anything, and out in the middle of the desert with the whole company. So to kill time, one of the team leaders thought it'd be a good idea to get some training on the machine gun. So we walk over to this Humvee. I set my rifle down by the back tire, hop up there so I can get closer to the machine gun. And after we're done looking at it and talking about it and figuring more shit out, like headspace and timing, I think we're dealing with the 50 cal. But yeah, hop down. My rifle's nowhere. But of course, there's Tony, or I think it was Tony. It was a long, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Like, where's your rifle, Duff? Because obviously somebody just took it. So I'm like, well, it was by this tire, but it's not anymore. So I'm assuming one of you guys have it. And nobody liked that I talked in facts, because those were the most likely facts that someone took it. And so I think Tony or whoever it was, there was like 3 of them, gave me a axe or sledgehammer or something heavy, something real heavy. I had to hold out with my arms straight in a squat position, and they would just make me recite that I won't lose my rifle or something like that. But that went on for probably 10, 15 minutes, and that was rough. That's one of the only instances that I can remember about Tony being an asshole. All right, who's next? Or how about Tony not being an asshole? That's just what he always talks about. When I was over there working with him, he's always like, man, he used to hate me. And I can't remember why. I guess maybe that was one of the reasons why. Probably. But I'm sure there's a lot more. Um, What else about Anthony? Talk about his FedEx company. How I got into that. He's a contractor for FedEx, and he has like his company that he manages now has a lot of trucks. I want to say at least 10, but they're all also broken now, and the fleet is pretty much entirely made up of budget trucks. How long was he in? I think he was in for 2 terms, so like 8 years. I think he's been out for 3 years, is what he said. Maybe he was only in another 2 years, but that's something we could talk about. Fucking Darren. I met Darren after I worked in Kuwait outside of the military. I worked as a civilian guard there with him. I met him, and he was running some kind of social media company or t-shirt company, Do You Even Gun Bro or something. And I'm not sure if he's still doing that or not, but and I'm pretty sure he was only in for 4 years like me, around the same time too. So we're gonna figure that out. Slash got out. Yeah, in Kuwait, what we did over there was just basically like the gate guards. We would be mirroring under so we could see under the vehicles, see if they had any bombs under the vehicles, which was the most boring job you'll ever do. And it was also consisted of if you weren't switching vehicles, you were standing in a tower by yourself for 12 hours, which that was even worse. Ugh. If you ask me, I would say it was even worse. Money was okay, but it was the fucking worst. That's all I gotta say about that. But Darren was living in Tampa for a little bit, and me and him would hang out a lot a few years back. Got to talk to him about his whole transition out, like what he did right after he got out. 'Cause I'm not sure on that one. Ryan served with me in weapons company, but he was in a different section. He went to boot camp at the same time. We went to school of infantry together. Mm, he was a good dude up until this last drama with me and him. Uh, just him getting mad about some dumb shit. So honestly, I don't think I'll have a way to talk to him because he blocked my number and stuff. But he'd be a good person to talk to, get some insight from about the whole transitioning from the military to the civilian life. So that one I'll just put a mark on, maybe get a hold of if I can. Rico, yeah, we were in boot camp together and School of Infantry with Ryan, and we were actually in the same fire team all through our first deployment. Well, not all three, because he was sent back about halfway through, maybe 2/3 of the way. He was sent back because he actually stepped on an IED. Uh, he was real lucky though. He didn't. He just got a broken foot, like a few fractures in his foot. I think that's all that happened. But yeah, it was just me and my team for about a month back there. I think maybe a little longer. But yeah, we were together from boot camp through our first deployment, and he got out after his contract was up. I think he had a longer one. He was a 5-year contract, maybe. But even when he was a civilian, he would still act the same. I mean, he was different. Rico was. He was like always level-headed and like educated, and everyone else that enlists in the Marines pretty much is not like that. Like they're always cursing because it's like part of the language. And Rico would hardly ever curse. He would, like I said, he always just had like a level head when talking to anyone. Never really lost his temper. Uh, yeah, just all around really chill guy. But even now that he's a civilian, he's still, from what I can tell, I mean, we don't really hang out that much anymore. But when we were going to Penn State, we actually ended up going to Penn State together a few years after we both had been out. And he still was very similar then. It's been about 3 or 4 years since then, though. So we can see how what's going on with him now, how he's doing and stuff. He's he's been contracting overseas for a while now. I think like a year or two maybe. But now he's taking a break. I think he's been back for a few months. He's planning on going again in I think 3 months or so. Um, but yeah, we'll just have to talk about some shit that we used to do. We used to do shit. Fucking Lunkin. Lunkin just picked up gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps, so he's still in. And I think he went to school before he enlisted for a little bit. Not really sure what the whole story is there, so I want to talk to him about what that whole story is, and that probably has a little bit to do with why he stayed in versus getting out. But who knows? But yeah, he's in it for the long haul, and he's been in since I think 2009. 2009 with me, thinking it like 10 years already. That's crazy. So he's halfway to retiring. I think he's 20 years, if I remember correctly. He's got a wife and two kids. They live in Jacksonville now. But we were in the same team all the way up until our first deployment. So what I said earlier, me and Rico being in the same team up until then was actually wrong. I was with Lunkin and Dominguez. That's another name I need down here. Is Dominguez. Lunkin, Dominguez, and Badillo, and Johnson. Ben? Ben Johnson? I think. Was his last name Johnson? There was somebody else in our team. Uh, I remember his face, but I can't picture remember his name for some reason. But we were all on the same team up until the first deployment. And then right as soon as we deployed, then I got switched to another team. Rico's team. Rico, Coley, Sappy. I think that's all it was. But, Dominguez got out after his 4 years. And not very many people have heard from him. He's like Dominguez is a mystery. You know, he had a girlfriend, and I know one thing that Anthony told me about. Uh, they were hanging out at somebody's wedding, and then him and his girlfriend ended up just taking off, I guess, after the incident with Anthony and Anthony's wife and Dominguez, wife at the time. Anthony's not married anymore. But yeah, definitely got to try to get a hold of him too. And Lupo, I think him and Lunkin joined the fleet at the same time, and they school of infantry and stuff. Angel, Todd Angel joined our platoon. I want to say a couple months before our deployment, but yeah, he's got a lot of energy. He's a real energetic dude, really outstanding corpsman. He received the Bronze Star or Silver Star. Shit, he's gonna be offended me. I don't know which one it was that he got. I'll just write down. He got a star because he did save a lot of people's lives over there. And in one instance where he saved this Afghani dude's life, where I was helping him out, I drugged this Afghani dude with no legs out of this pit, and Angel was right there, just helping me pull him out. And he wrapped up the tourniquets and everything. And he's just a spot on corpsman. he definitely deserved that star. But he ended up getting out too, actually. So I mean, he could have. I feel like he could have had a really long, good career after getting the star and everything after not being in very long. So I talked to him about. He's a firefighter now. I think he's been a firefighter since he got out in Tampa. And another dude that actually lives with him now. His name is Joey. He was deployed with Gilligan on the second deployment. They did have another deployment after the one with all these guys. Um, I don't remember exactly what they were doing, but I'm pretty sure he was in Bravo Company in the same unit as us. I think, if I remember correctly. I gotta get his phone number. That's from Rico. I gotta get Winslow's number two. Because Rico would tell me some crazy shit that him and Joey would do on their second deployment. Jason Williams, moving on. He actually hurt his knee real bad after or during the first deployment, and ended up getting sent home and medically retired. I'm pretty sure. Uh, that's the last thing I heard from him. I could be way wrong about these things. My memory is awful. That's why I got to talk to those people. But, he's basically been bouncing around Florida. He was in Pensacola for a while. I stayed with him and his parents after I got out. Because he got out before me. And then I got out. I was married and doing a job search in Louisiana for a diving job. And he let me stay with him, I think for 3 nights or something like that. But while I was doing the whole traveling from Jacksonville, Florida to Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama and all them places. For some reason, uh, who knows why I do these things, but and our paths ended up crossing again down in Orlando a year ago or 2 years ago. I was doing some temporary insurance work, estimating the damage costs of the hurricanes, and he was there, and he actually let me stay on his couch for that like month that I was doing that. Yeah, but I was living about an hour or two away in St. Pete, so I didn't want to be making that drive every single day. And he was about 5 minutes away from all the houses I needed to estimate, so that worked out well. But then he ended up moving last year to South Carolina or North Carolina, Georgia. I think he's in South Carolina. Baker was another one of the older Marines who was with Tony. I think he was in the same group as them. He was good friends with Crisquillo, which is another neat name I need to put on here. Baker Crisquillo. Baker was another one of them dudes. I can't remember why, but was an asshole in the military because he was like they're the ones training us, so they kind of got to be assholes, I guess. But we ended up reconnecting a couple times, I believe. He flew down to St. Pete, and ended up coming to stay and hang out for a little bit with Castillo, with Juan. So it was a pretty good time. I'm actually thinking about going to check out Juan's place in New York right now. So I'm probably gonna head up there and make some videos with Juan. Actually gonna buy the tickets tomorrow. Hopefully, if things go according to plan. But yeah, we can talk about that shit. Why he was an asshole too. And Castillo, he was with them too. He wasn't ever an asshole though. He was just a quiet dude, really chill. Saw him right after I came up from Kuwait. I got hurt in Kuwait and flew back to, I want to say, JFK, and ended up spending some time with him up there and Guerrero and Rodriguez. Sorry, I think I put their names on here too. And they were also part of that older group of Marines. So yeah, when I go up that way, I might be able to see them too. So shit, that's enough of that for right now. Take a quick break. Actually, it's probably gonna be it for today too, because thinking is a lot of work sometimes, if you know what I mean. So I just quit FedEx job. Um, moved back with my mom. This is my mom's house in Crystal River, Florida, and my little brother too. We were living together for about 6 months, I think, in Jacksonville, and that's about how long they let him work there. And they ended up having to let him go. So I came down here with him. After that happened, I gave him my 2 weeks. I worked 2 more weeks and get my last check today. Coincidentally, there was an ad in the newspaper for commercial divers, which is something I used to do out in the Gulf of Mexico. So I gave him a call yesterday and meeting up with him on Monday to see how that goes. As soon as I came back here, these trees right out front, they were hanging down so low over the front sidewalk. I had to squat down or bend over just to walk in the front door. So I had to chop them all off. Chopped all those off yesterday. Got to set up this Xbox though. That's what I'm about to do. About to go get on some Ace Combat, fly some jets around, and kill some people, or die, or die trying. Get a membership to the YMCA. I'm also a personal trainer. If anyone needs some training, or if you got like aches and pains, I can help. I can assess your body and your muscles, tell you what's tight, what you need to stretch, tell you what you need to work, tell you what's weak. There's a lot of muscles in our bodies that people don't even know about that need to be worked out on a daily basis. Well, daily would be good, but we all know that you're not going to work out every single day. It'd be great if you did. It'd be really great if you followed the programs that I wrote up for you. If you followed the advice that I gave you, but you never do. Once in a while. Once in a while, there's a good client. Sometimes. Even once in a while. Some of you. Some of you are dedicated. Dedicated to learning. Dedicated to learning about what muscles need to be tight. What muscles need to be strong in order to help you have good posture. Oh, that's rough though. Maintaining that good posture on a day-to-day basis, especially when you're a truck driver. Oof. You guys need the most help. You just sitting for hours and hours, and your arms are up. When your arms up like this all day on the steering wheel, guess what's super tight? Right up here, that chest, that shoulders. That's what you got to work. Your knees and your hips, those really need to be stretched after that kind of sitting all day. That's no good for your hips. And if your hips are off and your back's off, if your back's off and your neck's off, you're gonna have all these issues, all these aches and pains. All right, I'm gonna stop talking about personal training now. But yeah, I'll be at the YMCA if you do want to talk seriously in Crystal River, the YMCA in Crystal River. All right, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Oh.